Hello, once again, this is Professor Jeremiah Elioso, and welcome to Operations Management in Tourism and Hospitality. In our previous discussion, we have had the overview on total quality management, and right now, our discussion is on measuring quality service and quality recognition for tourism and hospitality. So first up will be the tools in measuring quality service in the hospitality industry. So we know for a fact that the tourism and hospitality industry is a service industry, meaning to say that our industry solely relies on the delivery of service. And so it's imperative that we are to satisfy our customers, and we would be using various models or various tools as a guide for the achievement of quality. And the first one is the perceived quality service model, which is helpful tool to understand factors that affect customer perceived quality in a company's service. The expected quality is directly influenced by the methods of marketing total tourism experience within an enterprise, the image created by a tourism product, the influence of word of mouth advertisement, and the customer requirements and needs. So, looking into this paradigm, we know that the tourism and hospitality industry is are the customers in our industry are looking for the total experience. It's a total sensory experience that they are looking into, and they are very much willing to pay an amount of money in exchange for the delivery of a quality service. And prior to the availment of the service, there are various reasons by which we have availed or we are supporting that those service. It could be through word of mouth publicity, maybe it's a referral, or we have heard that restaurant or hotel or your products from a friend or a relative. And this could also be backed up by our personal needs, wants, demands, or desire to purchase that kind of product, or probably a past experience. Maybe we have had an experience on that product, and because of a positive word of mouth, we are availing it again. Now, looking onto the left side of the paradigm, we could see the service quality dimensions, meaning to say that these are the things that our customers are looking for, or these are the indicators of quality. For a certain product or service to be deemed as of high quality, it has to conform to reliability, to responsiveness, assurance, empathy, and the tangibles. And customers would be measuring their expectations and their perception so that we could uh, identify service quality assessment. We're comparing the expectations with reality. So there are three possible results from this paradigm. The first result could possibly that expectations are not met, and this always happens. And it happens when the expected service is more than the perceived service or greater than the perceived service, and it will result to unacceptable quality. And oftentimes we've seen this as memes on social media, that the expectation does not meet reality, most especially with their online purchases. And it usually because that the customers are not reading feedbacks, the customers are not checking the specifications of the products, and usually it would lead to disappointment, such that when the product that was delivered to them is way too small, or the the quality is made of poor materials, and that is unacceptable for them because is that it does not meet the service quality dimensions that they expect. But what we look forward to, or what we want, is the to meet the expectations such that the expected service is equal to the perceived service, so that the customers will be satisfied. And that is the ultimate goal of the business or the company. However, there are some business establishments with who kind of exceed the expectations of their customers, thus leading to quality surprise. And that happens when the expected service is less than the perceived service, meaning to say that the customers are not expecting much, but you as a company have delivered more than what is required. And in the hospitality industry, we have to constantly wow our guests to be able to give them more than what they have paid for, because this could be one of your competitive advantage, to be able to create brand loyalty and to have a longer total lifetime value of your customers. The second measurement is the five gap model. According to this model, customers or consumers quality assessment will be influenced by a series of five distinct gaps in this co-service process. Quality management systems must attempt to close the five gaps in the model and to improve the quality of service as experienced by means of comparison between expected and perceived quality after the customer has received the service. So if we look into the words, gap means space. And through this model, we want to bridge that gap. We want to make sure that the expectation will at least meet the perceived quality. And the five gap model can be best exemplified in this paradigm or on this illustration. And if you look into the first gap, say for example, in the hotel industry, there is leading to looking into the line leading to from gap one to gap number two, the management perception of consumer expectations. So the management would expect something or would perceive something from the consumer. Then there is we call that the knowledge gap, and the gap number two would be the space between the translation of perception into the service quality specifications or the standards gap, because establishments would follow a certain standards based on different industries. Say for example, in the hotel operations, they would have to adhere to the standards of the Department of Tourism or interagency task force. Now that there is a standards that must be met with the minimum health and safety measures that they have to abide. So there are various standards coming from different agencies related to the operation of your business that you have to conform, so that you'll be able to bridge the gap number two. And gap number three is um, from translation of perception to service delivery. So there would be pre and post contact, and we call this the delivery gap. So during the delivery process, there are some variations, but we are trying um, to close this gap of delivery so that we still conform to the standards and to be able to meet the expectations. And gap number four is the external communications to the customer, or the communication gap. And oftentimes, a lot of establishments or operations had a problem with communication. And the communication gap does not only happen with, or the miscommunication does not only happen between um, the service provider and the customer. Usually there's also a gap between the management and the employees. So ultimately we have to bridge this gap to avoid conflicts. And leading to number 5 would be the service gap. Okay, so that's the gap number 5. So we have to bridge the gap between perception and expectation, that as such, on a minimum, perception should be equal to expectations. So that is what we meant by the 5 gap model. The third tool would be, there are other tools that management or establishment can use for further improvement of their business, such as the surveys of satisfaction or questionnaires or common card. And businesses are constantly using surveys to be able to get feedback from customers, and they are using this very important data for research for further improvement in the crafting of the plans and programs, which necessitates improvement of the operation, improvement of their products, and improvement of their service delivery. I'm sure that you've heard of the concept of a mystery guest or mystery shopper. It's a technique of secretly visiting companies or organizations in question to check the quality of services provided and to prepare and submit feedback reports to management. Usually there's a third party involved on this, or establishments are commissioning people to enroll or to submit themselves for a mystery the job of a mystery guest, and such that they will come into your establishments unidentified, just like a civilian or a normal person, but uh of course they are not to reveal their identity, and that they are secretly observing or rating your performance, or the performance of an individual, or performance of the team of that particular unit, or as a whole. And this is also nice to employ, because there are some employees who are just um, doing their absolute best when the managers are around, but when the supervisor or the managers are not around, they are not doing their best or not doing in accordance to the standards. Then there's market evaluation or market reports, analyzing critical issues such as competition and pricing policy, useful for defining the company's strategic policies and marketing. So market evaluations are crucial to the business, because you're not only considering your own business, but you also have to put your perspective into the different into the perspective of the different stakeholders, because they also play an important role for the success of your business, like taking into consideration your competitors, your suppliers, and then you have to create various reports. You have to conduct SWOT analysis, or identify your strengths, weakness, opportunities, and threats. And there are also various audit reports, and this could be a good tool for inspection, correction, and verification of business accounts. Audits conducted by independent auditors or third-party auditor to monitor or evaluate the existing system within the organization. Moving on, there's also complaints and incidents, or IR, incident report. Could be oral or written complaints, and specific forms indicating incidents and moments of truth that led to guest dissatisfaction. And these are inevitable, or you cannot really prevent these things from happening, but documenting these moments of truth or um, incidents are are important, so that you could also study where the problem is coming from, and also to create possible solutions to this, and hoping that this will not happen again. And then we also have self assessments, are moments that managers, staff, or other stakeholders evaluate the present situation, taking into consideration the market reports, complaint forms, moments of truths for identifying the main source of malfunction in order for a solution to be found. So it's nice if the company are doing this kinds of tools for further improvement of their service. So benchmarking, I have slightly introduced you the concept of benchmarking, but to further this, it's a process of comparing and measuring an organization's business processes against best in class operations to inspire improvement in the organization's performance. The insights gained from benchmarking provide a foundation for building operational plans to meet and surpass industry best practices. So it's like you're going to observe and take note important information from a competitor or probably a sister company, and you are going to study how do they handle different operational uh, processes. And measuring quality service and quality assurance is a long-term consistency, which also represents a cost, but a welcome and lower one that of non-quality. And managers should identify, record, and weigh up the impacts of quality, cost, profit. So all of those tools that we have mentioned are significant or are of paramount importance so that you'd be able to always and every time deliver your absolute best for your customers because they only deserve the best. The main categories of quality cost are prevention costs, and companies should budget prevention costs so that you would be able to maintain your the quality of your products, and you're trying to avoid problems even before it blows up. And then the assurance cost would be your staff time and administrative and external cost or failure cost, and this what we are trying to avoid. But since it's inevitable, you have to allot a certain budget should problems occur in your company. Let's now go to the mechanism for quality recognition in the tourism and hospitality services. You know that in the hotel operations, we have the star classification system. Okay, we have the 1 star, 2 star, 3 star, 4 star, 5 star, even up to the 7 star rating. And there is criterion by which you could fit the mold of a certain star rating. So say for example that it is measured also by through the size of the hotel, the available facilities and amenities that you have, the total number of rooms. Okay, so the larger the hotel, the chances are that you could get higher star rating. And there is some of the high or super luxury hotel could go up far up to 7 star rating, such that of the Burj Al Arab in Dubai, which are of course the 7 star rating would ultimately reflect super highest level of excellent service that they could provide for their guests. So it evokes luxury. And another hotel rating process is that of the American Automobile Association or the AAA Diamond programs, both for hotels and restaurants are rated with Diamond. So 1 diamond is budget oriented, 2 diamonds is enhanced, 3 diamonds would be distinguished, 4 is refined, and 5 is ultimate luxury. Then number 2 is the tripadvisor.com, which is a travel website with accommodation ratings that are based on consumer opinions as submitted to the site. And I'm sure that you're familiar with this. Maybe you've seen this when you have surfed the internet, and the the travelers are rating their experience with their travel experience on this site. Okay, and they are submitting to this site to be able to give feedback whether they have received positive or negative. And then the third one would be the ISO certification, or the International Standards Organization. The International Organization for Standardization is an international standard setting body composed of representatives from various national standards organization, founded on February 23, 1947. The organization promotes worldwide proprietary, industrial, and commercial standards. And maybe you have seen various organizations who are ISO certified, and there are several series of standards, and some of them can be applied to the tourism sector. So what does this indicate? So when a company is ISO certified, meaning to say that they have conformed to international standards of that particular industry where they belong to, meaning to say that their processes are standardized, chances are that the delivery of their products and services conforms to the highest international standard, and that you are assured of the highest quality. Then eco labels. This have been increasingly established, and the first label to be developed were originally green labels aimed at improving the environmental management of hotel establishments, but have since extended to other sectors of the tourism and travel industry, such as these. And the good thing about eco labels is that since much of our resources are originated from Mother Earth, establishments must take or have that social responsibility to take care of whatever resources that they get from Mother Earth, because our resources are slowly depleting. We are contributors to a lot of pollution, and as as good agents, we have to uh, be one, or we have to step up to the game of preserving our world so that it will be a better place to live in, and it could be in many could be applied in many different facets of the travel and hospitality industry. So let us support business establishments who have passed the eco label or are conformant to this green advocacy. All right. So I hope that you have learned so much today. Thank you very much. And please continue to support my channel. Please give this content a thumb up, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel and subscribe, and hit on the notification bell. So again, this is Professor Elioso. Thank you very much, and you do have a great day.